Hello, everyone. Give me 1 second or two, maybe three. 10. I'm pulling up some other stuff. I just made it back in from out in town, going to shop for my mom, talking to different people, I'll tell you about it all in a minute. Let me get a lot wound up here. So welcome to Midday with Cassandra. So I hope that you're having a good day, regardless of everything that's taking place around you. I hope that you're able to find some joy and peace, and that you are strengthening your resolve to be at peace in this world today. Given all the assaults and all the attacks on transgender people and LGBT Americans, lesbians, gays, bisexual Americans, then we know that it's going to take a tremendous amount of strength and resilience to be able to get through this period of time. This is that one blip where the conservative movement, people, all of that, it's not really conservative, it's more of a Trumpism movement or something or other. We know that this bubble will burst. We know that the country will rise up against this kind of thing, not in a violent way, but at the voting booth, at the polls come November of 2028 during the midterms, or 2026 during the midterms, and then in the presidential election in 28. We know that the continued assault on basic freedoms of America's most marginalized communities, the gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender communities, as well as all other minorities, we know that that's the case. That's what's going on, that the attacks against these communities are purposeful and deliberate, and no matter how it's shielded or shrouded or covered up or made to look like or apologized about, then it is cruel what they're doing, attacking these communities. And then, I mean, it's crazy. I can't understand why America has such a hard time seeing the cruelty and this fakeness that's coming out in assaults against LGBT people, LGBT. I mean, going after the 988 line, the suicide prevention line, simply because it has LG and B on there as an option. If you're an LGBT person under the age of 25, now they took out the T deliberately. They removed the T from that and communicating about it over the past couple of days, because they just can't bring themselves to say transgender or trans or anything with transgender in it. I mean, they just can't say it. They don't even like to say the word. They want to remove it from the lexicon of America. And the cruelty behind all of that is just so deep. I mean, why can't people see it? Why? I mean, there are good people in this country. I interact with them all the time, every day. But yet, they don't see it as cruel. As a matter of fact, it's not even on their radar as a conversation thing. They're not worried about it at all because, one, they don't deal with it. I mean, they don't have to, right? Their biggest things are, one, we want to make America great again. And that's what they're doing from that perspective. They don't see the stuff that's taking place in the background. They don't hear about it. It doesn't get mentioned about the cruelty that's taking place right now in this country towards LGBT people under 25. When you're cutting off option 3, which is option 3 on the 988 suicide prevention line, where 1.3 million LGBT people called in or text in for help to save their lives. And that's how many people were helped during that period of time, how many LGBT Americans were helped, LGBT Americans were helped in that period of time. And yet they're cutting it out. And they made the announcement during Pride Month. That's just cruelty. It's deliberate. It is a very deliberate move to do this now. I don't know why that is so hard to grasp. It's the cruelty streak in it. And the thing is, the people who are pushing this, they don't think of it as being cruel. They think of it as returning power to the parents. Well, look, a lot of the homeless children under the age of 25, or kids under the age of 25, or young people under 25 in this country. There's a significant portion of them are LGBT children or kids. You know why? Because the parents kicked them out of their homes. They did not want those kids in their own homes because they were gay or lesbian. They get kicked out, kicked to the street. And then to turn around and say that the parents need to have responsibility for that because they kicked them out of the, no, the parents need a good ass kick. That's my opinion. Okay. Kick out your kid? Come on. It's cruelty. There's nothing Christ-like in any of this. Nowhere. There's certainly religious nationalism behind it all. That part's for sure. We know that. But to say that this is God's love, I mean, no. No. My goodness, come on. To shut down the 988 option 3 for LGBT Americans under the age of 25 during Pride Month serves only one purpose: to poke a needle, to poke a burning fire hot iron into someone's face and say, we don't want you around. We want to put you back under the floorboards in the closet and nail it down, put concrete on it, throw you out in the middle of the water, and they just don't want you around. But it's not just that. The 988 number, we started talking about that a month ago, whenever the first words of it started coming up that they were going to do it. And then it was maybe October the 1st is when they were going to try to shut it all down because, you know, that's the start of the new fiscal year. Well, no, they had to make a point of shutting it down during Pride Month. You got 30 days. They're shutting it down. And 1.3 million LGBT Americans used that service since 2023, over 2 years. If it saved lives, if it saves one life, it's worth it. You know how Fox News likes to go out there and take up one person and make a big deal out of that one person? I'm talking about, say, I don't know, a transgender person walks into a bathroom, and then all the world hears about it from Fox News. And yet there are millions of us in the country, but the one you hear about is the one who went out there and did something stupid, okay? Went to go shave in the women's bathroom. Oh God, that's definitely a wrong thing on our end of it, okay? We've got a lot to come around to, a lot to fix in our own community, absolutely. But we do also need to have allies in this, across the country, in all political persuasions and ideological backgrounds. But the ones running the country right now, they have no place for anyone who is a minority in this country. None. And the majority never hears about the vast majority of other people in the country who aren't like them. You only hear about that 1 or 2 or 3 people who stand out and have made a scene out of themselves, and the Fox has made a big deal out of it. That's the stuff that gets amplified. So we have to make sure we're not doing things that actually exacerbate this problem, make it worse. We do need to stand up, be seen, be heard, but respectfully, with some decency about ourselves, okay? I was out today, after I did the breaking news thing this morning, earlier today. I was out today here in the Belfry, Kentucky area, and South Williamson, Kentucky area, in West Virginia, Williamson, West Virginia. I drive around, I go out, I pick up some orders for DoorDash. I go out and do a few things. I make a little extra spending money that helps pay a car payment or something, you know? So I go out and do that. But it gives me an opportunity to meet people every day that I'm out. Every day. And today I had to go take care of the fire department, pay the dues for properties here. So, and then the person behind the desk up there at the Belfry Fire Department, family member, no doubt. Her last name was Maynard. Definitely. Yeah. This is the place for the family tree as a totem pole. but we're all related here somehow or the other, seems like. But anyway, so I go in and talk to Mr. Charles Maynard, and I mean, we just started talking. He asked my name, and I told him so you can put it on the receipts and all that, so you can get the tax write-off or whatever you need to do for that. And then I saw his name was Maynard, and I said, so Maynard, that's, let me see, where are you from? And we started talking, and he said, originally my mom was down Brushy. She was a Maynard, and my dad was a Maynard also. And from a different part of the same region, same section of the country. He graduated high school in '68, went into the Air Force, didn't go to Vietnam, but got stationed in different places, continental U.S., and then ended up getting out and going to work for Northrop Grumman, Boeing, Cessna for a little while in Kansas, and helped build that 30,000-pound bunker buster bomb. Imagine that. He built, his first contract was on the B-2 bomber that flies out of Whiteman Air Force Base in Diego. So here's this person at the fire department, a fire person there, getting my name, we're having a conversation, we're talking about family, and we're both acknowledging each other's service. There's no problem, folks. Get out and see the people, not these idiots up here trying to run the country into the ground, destroying things and that every chance they can get their hands on. America, most of America is really a good place, a good bunch of people, most. And I'm gonna put that number in the high 90s as a percentage. You got a few nutcases everywhere, but for the most part, that's all I deal with here are people who aren't really interested in just attacking me for who I am. I'm not interested in attacking them for their beliefs or anything like that or what they do. I am not interested in that, period. I've got things I need to do. This is a community where I live. This is a place that I grew up, actually. And then, you know, we just have to learn how to interact with people who don't necessarily agree with us all the time. Get out of your echo chamber, get out of that silo and go talk to people. It takes confidence. It takes courage. It takes a willingness to expand your horizons because they may say something that you have never heard before. They may have a perspective on something that could be influential for you, but yet we get into our little silos and we shut people out. We shut them down because you didn't say the right words. Well, right now, the Trump administration is eliminating words that they don't want you to use. Why? Because it's an ideological purity test. That's where it is at this point in time. They have got this bar up here that says, if you use these words, you're not one of us. If you use these words, you don't belong in the federal government doing any kind of work to support anybody. So if it has to do with gender or sexuality or anything like that, lo and behold, it's time for a re-education camp for you, like Pete Hegseth is trying to do at the Pentagon, having church services there once a month that he leads in the auditorium. Y'all know auditorium in Pentagon. So a church service in the Pentagon. I'd like to know if there's a mosque in there for the Muslims to meet. Yes, there are Muslim Americans. Yes, there are Muslims who serve in the military. People serving in the military. Is their religion recognized? Their beliefs recognized? No, predominantly what we have right now is the religious nationalists taking over the whole of our federal government. And they believe they are entitled to do it. They're going to do everything in their power to shut down anything to do with LGBT plus people across the board because they don't like hearing about it. It just offends them for some reason whenever somebody says, hey, are you gay? Or are you trans? Or it really just pisses them off when those words are used. I don't know why. Can anybody explain that to me? What is so offensive about those words? Now look, I grew up here, and gay was a word you didn't use here, or queer especially. Oh my God, that was a word that was verboten. You don't use those words around here. I mean, Nobody said those words. Oh my God. Look back on your own life, you'll find that in some communities that you've been in, you've had encountered those same things. Well, right now you've got that group of people running the country. And they're going after LGBT youth, shutting down the suicide prevention line that helps them and has been a part of 1.3 million lives interacted with over the past 2 years. They're going after changing names of ships because the person is a gay icon that they didn't like. They're going after another ship because it happened to be a civil rights icon, Medgar Evers. So here we go. We got all of this stuff going on, and they're just deliberately going after. You got SCOTUS, the Supreme Court of the United States, ruling that Tennessee can discriminate against trans youth. And then you got the Veterans Affairs Department. You have recently there's a publication that, or a story that came out in the Guardian talking about how the VA is now authorizing its staff and people and anyone in the VA system to discriminate against people based on whether or not they agree with their ideologies or not. If you don't like somebody because they are Muslim, you don't have to deal with them. If they don't like somebody because they are Samoan, well, you don't have to deal with them. Now, there is some pushback on that story. That is true. There is some pushback on that story. The White House says that's not a true thing, but press secretary at the VA has not denied it either, even when he was asked point blank about it. But here's the other thing to that too. Each of the VA medical facilities around the country, the major medical facilities in the country, have their own set of bylaws and own sets of policies applicable to them, and still have the federal level policies with them as well. There are some facilities in the country who have actually stripped out the language that does that actually and says you cannot discriminate. They're stripping the language out. We know that. We know it's happening. We know that the VA employees are scared to death to speak up and say anything for fear of losing their jobs, their livelihoods, and losing any opportunity of actually helping people at all. We know that's the case. We've seen it. So I don't know how we're to move forward in all this other than just be strong, keep your head on a swivel, try to take care of one another, and get out and be seen respectfully. Respect what it is you do and where you are working or how you wish to live. Respect that. But at the same time, respect the larger community that you're out in. I see that here all the time. I have no problems here in these hills of Eastern Kentucky. There are some places I'm a little bit reluctant to go to because I know who's there. That's primarily it. There are people in my family who don't want me around. But they know that I've been here for over a year and a half now, helping family out, being here for them, trying to do everything I can to give them as long a life as possible. That's what I'm doing. And that's what's important. Beyond the fact that I've got 4 grown adult children and 8 grandkids, and Lord knows what else is coming along real soon here. Who knows? But anyway, take care of